Alrighty, folks, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon, December 15th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, this time of the day, welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Great to see Brian, Udaya, Deborah, Mark, Michael, Ari, Patrick, Norman, all of us here still sticking with us. Great to see everyone loud and clear from all. Perfect. And if you're joining us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, as always, welcome on back. So, right now, we just finished up the Fed meeting. Actually, not so fully finished. I know we have a little competition here at 2:30 Eastern Time. I know that Fed Chair Jay Powell is beginning to talk right now. Little joke there, little competition here at this meeting. But I'll give a quick little update on the Fed. Looks like they're going to see 3 rate hikes across the 2022 calendar year. It will accelerate the wind down of the stimulus. For right now, they leave the interest rates unchanged as of right now. The Fed sees Fed funds rate at a median of 0.9% at the end of 2022, the median 1.6% at the end of 2023, and 2.1% at the end of 2024. What does all of that mean? I don't have that answer. You probably know more than me. In terms of the instant reaction from the market, at least, we ended up seeing a bit of a pop. And myself and Rich Lizzie here in the office were kind of talking about that a moment ago. He was wondering why the market ended up making a bit of a pop with the rates. Well, not to say rates unchanged, to have the rate hikes going into next year. Why is the market popping? Well, let me ask you folks, why do you think that's the case? Why is the market popping after hearing that news, after the Fed finishing up? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, we don't have a fully answer. We don't have the full answer in front of us, right? But what are your thoughts? Brian says it could be priced in. Norman says uncertainty is gone. Udaya says because the rates are not going up too high. And then Michael says that is what was expected. Well, yes, but as far as the pop with the market, I don't think seeing rate hikes would lead to a big pop right away. Rod says the folks were worried about it even going higher. Well, that's a possibility. Perhaps just seeing that could lead to a bit of a nice reaction. Perhaps. And this is just a thought. I don't want to be a pessimist here. Perhaps this could be the beginnings of short covering. And then if we happen to see continued direction on the way down, then we'll probably see that heading into the next week or two. So for right now, in my opinion, a little bit of a pop perhaps could be either a combination of buying, just perhaps they thought the rate hikes would be a lot higher from what Rod said, or otherwise, at the same time, it could be potential short covering, leading to a bit of a pop at first. But then look what's happening right now. Over the last 10 minutes, we're pulling right back down a bit, folks. So we'll see what happens here heading into the final 70 minutes here of our day. For right now, the AVCT stock is on the screen to begin. It's obviously on the top of the gainers list right now as well, up just about 27%. Right now, the stock's making lower highs, trying to tease us for this big pop heading into the close. Was this the stock that had the common stock offering or direct offering of shares back from the other day? I mean, you can kind of see what happened for as much as it moved up from the end of last week into this. Well, we ended up seeing a huge drop off from pre-market yesterday, and only continued to drop. At least a nice recovery this morning for this AVCT. I don't know. I'm not really too particular about this one just yet. I'll keep it on the side list and we'll kind of just go right from top to bottom. Otherwise, we'll recap any of the other movers that we had from this morning. But I will say, because the Fed was finishing up its meeting today, we knew that it was going to be a slow morning, slow early afternoon. We knew that we would have to wait for 2 or 2:30 to come to see a bit of a pop or drop within the market. So, we'll see what else is out there. All right. Number one, I just want to look at it. Just normally, there's not really going to be a $191 stock on the top of the gainers list. My assumption would be a buyout, but I'm just going to check just out of pure curiosity. We're not going to trade this. Yeah, that's it actually. That's exactly it. CMC Materials shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Integris for 6.5 billion, that is 6.5 billion. Pretty interesting. Hey, for such an expensive stock, it's going to have a slightly bigger range. So you can see there actually is a bit of movement here as it's trending up into the afternoon. Normally, we say these buyouts don't move, right? I forgot the last one that we saw. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do remember. Soli. Look at Soli from yesterday, right? This is where we say buyouts do not move, right? But the more expensive the company is upon the buyout, probably get a little tiny microscopic movement. So that's what you're seeing there. THRX, how about this one? And oh, this is the one too. This is pretty crazy, folks. Now, we didn't mention this at all during the day today inside Cyber Group. This is just something that I saw at the end of yesterday, and I don't know if anyone caught this as well. I don't think it was a glitch. Like pretty funky stuff. But you see right over here, see that little dash? At the end of the day yesterday, I'm looking at my platform, the gainers and losers lists, and I see THRX down 99%. I'm like, what the hell happened here? 2,200 shares were filled at like 3 cents. I have no idea who did that, for what reason. It was probably a mistake, probably a stupid trade. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, for right now, this stock ended up making a nice recovery, at least from the close from yesterday, and then pushing up right now up over 27, 28%. The only issue on this stock is just the volume. It's trading like very little volume across the duration of the day, just under 200,000 shares right now. Big spread. It's on the top of the gainers list here, but it's not really looking that great for a clean opportunity. Nice trend up, but we don't know if that's going to continue. And with the lack of volume on the order book, it just makes it really tough to try and figure that out. So we're going to pass on that. CNEY at least has a lot more volume on the order book, at least, and it's right at the highs of the day. So we hope to see this stock only continue to push up, hopefully making a bigger pop here heading into the afternoon. So for right now, yeah, we'll at least add this. This looks a lot better. Actually, I will say what doesn't look good about this stock, although I just said it looked all right. Just look at the lack of volume after like 130. It did drop off quite a bit after 130. So with that, it hasn't really moved since. So we got to see a lot more buying coming in to lead to another big pop on this trade. All right, so we'll keep it going now. I took a 5 cent loss just about 15 minutes ago or so, right on the GMTX here. Man, what a tease this stock's been throughout the whole day. The news that came out on this stock, HC Wainwright firm, they ended up giving like a $20 price target for this $3 stock, for this like $2.50 stock as of yesterday. That doesn't happen often, right? To see a company give a price target that's like 5x from where it's trading at, if not, maybe 10. But it's just to say we've seen this happen before. I think it was even HC Wainwright themselves that gave this SEAL stock at the time. It was, I think, back in October here, ended up giving them like a $15 price target. So listen, you don't want to hold your breath waiting for that exact number to hit. But when this stock's trading at $2, what's stopping it from going up to 3? What's stopping it from going up to 250 at least, right? So the thing is on GMTX, when the news came out of potential price target of 20, don't hold your breath for 20. But what's stopping this from going to 4? That was my thought on it. So with that, that's what made it so disappointing, because it didn't even get close to 4. It didn't even get close to 350 here from the pre-market. Just kind of chopped around here in this range. And just a moment ago, I took a loss on this stock as it finally decided to snap back over 3. And I was able to get in right here, dip down, and right here, I thought it was going to make the pop. And I told Rich L here in the office, I said, I feel like we're going to get a big move coming up here. I think this is like a crossroads here on this trade. Well, unfortunately, I was wrong. I was wrong with the direction. It sure made a big move after, but ended up just dropping, stopping me out for a -5. The news out on it still leads me to be interested in the trade, but how could I be interested in this trend right now, or lack thereof? So listen, I'll come back to this at the end. If it ends up making a big pop as soon as I turn away from this trade, then we'll easily reconsider. And again, otherwise, I'll come back to this at the end. All right, BFRI, another teaser for us this morning, but this one has treated us pretty nicely across the last 2 to 3 weeks, including Monday of this week. So we ended up seeing it begin to show signs of life after 8 a.m., ended up breaking above major resistance after the market opened up this morning at 720. And for the most part, you could see what happened afterwards. It pulled back down under that same level, held under that same level, perfectly. I think just, a false breakout here, and then it's going to happen if it pops and drops right away on the same bar. It's going to just go the other way. So unfortunately, this was a bit of a loser after the market opened up, or at least after this first pop. And yeah, I mean, hey, keep it on your side list. For as much as we've seen this stock make, these moves over the last few weeks, we're not going to totally ignore it going forward. We're not going to ignore it tomorrow. We'll at least look at it in pre-market to see what it's up to. If it's up or down X amount of percent, trading a few 100,000 shares, you know what? Hey, that's pretty interesting to me. I'll keep it in mind if that's the case. And then otherwise, we'll keep it going here. MTCR, dollar stock, just about trading 6 million shares so far on the day, but it's not really doing much on the chart there. MESO, near the highs, but it's only trading about 3,700 shares per minute right now, like 3 to 4,000 shares per minute. That's very little. ESSC here, it was trying to squeak up going into this afternoon meeting time, but pulled right back down. And not to be confused with ENSC. This stock we ended up trading back from the end of last week. Well, really all of last week, but from Thursday and Friday gapped up and then from there pulled back. Hey, right now it actually looks pretty decent, trending up with higher lows, trying to make a higher high, at least from 4 to move up towards the actual high of the day here, 425. A little bit of a thin order book, so that does deter me a bit. I don't mind coming back to this at the end if I need to. Check it out at the end again. MOXC, same thing, just choppy, spotty chart. It's going to be a theme here, folks. Nice little pop back up, at least on the SPY, over the last 5 or 7 minutes there. Hey, I'm rooting for a strong market heading into this close, heading into the end of this week. I would love to see it. Damn, you also got some pretty expensive stocks here too. TNDM, Lilly, LLY. I know Fausto was harping on that earlier today. And with that, I mean, of course, we should just jump right back to the Pfizer stock. PFE breaking all-time highs. Perfect timing with this now breaking a new high, breaking back above the major resistance that we had from this morning at $58. I was in this trade just earlier off a pretty good entry. There was like an 8, well, you could see it here too from the volume spike, but there was an 870,000 share print that came in on the tape. It got filled exactly at the price 57.17. And I'm hoping that I could show that to you right here on the TradeStation histogram, right over here, 57.17, this big spike of volume. So, it just goes to show, certainly at that price, we had so much volume filled within one transaction. And that was from the early morning here, too. Well, this is why we need to follow the big money, folks, right? I mean, that wasn't shown from level 3. That popped up right on the time and sales as a dark pool print. So that will show on Bookmap too. That will be like a big red dot on Bookmap. Point being, this is where we say follow the money, right? Look what happened. Held it perfectly as support. Even once the Fed decision came out, we ended up seeing a quick spike down initially, held right above it, popped right back up, and here we are now. So, certainly we'll put PFE on our watch list. Also for the reason of job security. I feel like Fausto would fire me for not putting this on our list. How could we not follow this PFE trade heading into the close? And I'm kidding when I say that, of course. All right, so let's see what else we can grab, though. Otherwise, this wasn't really on the gainers list. It's up only 5%. So maybe there's others that are looking even better at this time here. The SEAC stock, we're certainly pretty familiar with this one at least. Moved up pretty nicely across the early afternoon. I guess you could say holding here, in fact, perhaps making a higher low, maybe teasing us for the higher high, the breakout later on. Not fully committed to this trade just yet. So again, we'll put it on the side list if we need to. Talk about a disappointing stock, honestly. This CFEI. Listen, we knew that we had the Fed today and things would be slow. We knew that. But, we ended up seeing news come out. I think it was official that there was the partnership between Trump acquisition or Trump Media and Technology Group. They ended up announcing the partnership with Rumble, which the CFEI stock is heavily tied to. That was kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news type of deal because that was rumored to be the case back from last week. So it's disappointing, even though you kind of expect that to happen, buy the rumor, sell the news, ended up completely dumping off after the market opened up. Right now, it's just really flat. Pretty range bound here. So I'll keep it on our side list. I'm definitely interested in seeing what the CFEI is up to come tomorrow morning. Really across the whole week, I'm watching this trade. All right. So with that, let's hop over to the losers list here, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. And right before I do that, I wanted to turn over to this RCAT stock. This one's been a runner for us in the past. Just pretty slow right now. It's at the highs, which I like, but Not a whole lot happening otherwise there. All right, also a familiar name actually to top the losers list. How about this? Good old familiar name for any of our longtime C2 students here, Plum, or otherwise PULM, right? We nicknamed the stock Plum. I mean, you could just see back from 2021, the beginning of this calendar year, ended up making a big pop, years ago. The stock has been in play for us for quite some time. All these days here where it's making these big pops and moves. So for right now, hey, we're not going to trade it. Just interesting to take your eyes off a trade for a period of time and come back to it. It's like, holy smokes, what happened to this trade? When did it end up dropping off this much? So yeah, for right now, we're not going to put it on our list, but pretty interesting to look at. A whole bunch of stuff hard to borrow, at least across the top of the losers list here, like this ATAI stock, so you can't short it. It's at all-time lows, but can't short it. ASPU, trading about 3 million shares. It is shortable. No trend on this, though, right now either, so we're going to pass. Roku, a little pricey for my liking, so we're going to pass on that as well. And I'll tell you, folks, I don't really see much else across the loser side here that's within our price range that looks easy to borrow. SGMA is the one that I will look at. Not much of a direction here. I guess it did pop from 1150 up to 1250-ish, but over the last 15 or so minutes, it's just been stuck. All right, so folks, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5% that you'd want me to look at, then just type it in the chat board. Just let me know. In the meantime, of course, in the interim, I will just pop up Bitcoin today being Wednesday. So with the market pushing up off the Fed meeting, you would assume at least for Bitcoin to make a similar move. And with that, I'll quickly just show the 15-minute chart just to kind of show what had happened since 2 p.m. So yes, we had a nice little pop so far. I don't think we're anywhere near out of the doghouse. And if I'm wrong with that and we see a huge pop overnight, then I'll be really happy to be wrong. But I'm expecting a pullback. So, where could we see Bitcoin potentially pull back down to? I told you earlier, or I told you back from Monday, in case if we happen to see Bitcoin pull lower towards as low as 45 here, I was going to look to buy. Obviously, that did not happen. But for right now, with this pushback up here, should this hold here, should we happen to see higher lows truly begin to form, then maybe right around 47.5, 47, just, kind of support back from the end of November, beginning of December here. That could be a potential spot. Should that break, then I would assume that we get our 45 here. But I'm pretty bullish as of right now. Nice pop thus far. The big talking point for me, at least when it comes to Bitcoin, is the white trend lines at this point. Because once we saw it break this one, which was holding for a little while back from July of 2021, well, look what happened. Had a big drop. And over time, it only continued to break these trend lines that I had from the beginning of the pandemic, from the beginning of March of 2020 even. So, you know what? If we happen to see this begin to show signs of life and pop back up over these lines, it's a pretty encouraging thing to happen. Leads me to believe that we'll begin to see this begin to get closer towards the 2 and 500 EMAs here, and then perhaps a nice clean run. But I think that will take a little bit of time for that to materialize. All right, so folks, lastly at the bell here from Udea, he's asking about ENGA. It's an OTC stock, so that's why we don't trade OTC stocks Udea. And then otherwise, it's just a real spotty chart, real spotty chart here. So not too particular about it. It's up 320%. So that's the interesting tidbit about this trade. But I'm gonna pass. All right, I said I'd come back to CMTX at the end. Did I say CMTX? GMTX. I'm right. I'm reading my notes wrong there. GMTX, trying to make the push up as we speak. You know what? If we're going to add one stock to our list, doesn't hurt for us to add this stock. That makes it 4 in total to watch heading into the close. But folks, it's still making lower highs. We got to see this begin to truly pop, not only over 3, but I would say even more so right around like 312, 310-ish. Seems to be a really strong top heading into the afternoon. All right, so I will add this to our list. And then, hey, you know what? On top, I didn't even mention this part. I was more looking for the long, so I wasn't even thinking this from the market open, really. But if this fails to break over 3 or 310, and if it makes a false breakout and craps out, breaks under support, If we happen to see a lot more selling coming in on this trade, believe it or not, this stock actually is shortable, and it has been since the market opened on the TradeStation platform that we have. So, that would be a thought if we happen to see a head fake or if we happen to see a lot more selling kick in. But for right now, I'm more hoping that we happen to have a big breakout here heading into the close. Welcome back, Doug. Doug Cherry on YouTube saying MGI just got halted. Oof, there we go. There we go, Doug. Very nice call out. So yeah, MGI, what's the news on this trade? I mean, this is like reminiscent of the Seal stock, or not Seal, reminiscent of what stock was it? SEAC back from earlier this week, right? We ended up seeing the stock get halted at the very end of the meeting here just on Monday, and look what happened. Ended up being a massive run. So for right now, MGI, it's much more within our price range. It's a NASDAQ stock, Udeas. So this is one that we're going to have data for. We're going to be able to see the icebergs for. It's only up 5%, but huge pop, obviously. Let's see the news on this. Looks like MGI shares are halted on a circuit breaker. Well, that's obvious. Following a report, Madison Dearborn has approached the company with an acquisition offer. Oh, potential buyout right there. So buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So it's not official. It's not an official buyout yet, folks, but it's rumored, speculated. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I'd still anticipate a pullback by the time this reopens up. But hey, this is still a great stock to trade here. I like this. So we'll add this stock to our list. Great call, Doug. And then Norman says the CNEY is popping right now too, which is already on our list. I felt good enough to put this on our list still. So you know what? I'll stop talking. We're good to go, folks. So at least for right now, we have about 5 stocks in total, or 4 stocks in total, I'm sorry, to work with. No, 5. I'm sorry, MGI. 5. MGI makes it 5. So we have 5 stocks to work with now heading into the afternoon. And then, of course, if there's anything else that does make a big move after 3 p.m. Eastern, I know that Rich and myself will look to call it out. All right, for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, Doug, and all of us, I appreciate you each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you'd like to learn more about what we do here at Cyber Trading University, you do have 2 options. First, always send a quick email right over to my email address, josh@c2trading.com. Any questions or feedback or concerns that you may have, always let us know. It typically takes me about a day or 2 to write back via email. Or otherwise, if you wanted to join us live inside the Cyber Group Trading Room, all you got to do is go right down to the link on the banner below of the stream just to get yourself started. All right. So for all of us there right now, Brian, Norman, Leda, Udea, Patrick, etc. Brian, I just talked about Bitcoin a moment ago. I don't know if you joined in late. I talked about Bitcoin already, starting to make the pop. I'll talk to you in private chat about that in a bit, though. All right, folks. But aside from that, we'll be back on very shortly from now. Take care.